South Park vs. Family Guy, the ultimate comedy showdown. Two legendary animated comedies, both pushing boundaries and redefining humor for decades. In this video, we'll break them down across 7 key categories: story engine, humor, characters and relationships, creativity, music and iconic moments, rewatch value, and cultural impact and legacy. We'll analyze how each show built its legacy, and by the end, only one will stand as the true king of animated comedy. Round 1. Story Engine. South Park was launched in 1997 by Trey Parker and Matt Stone and follows 4 foul-mouthed elementary kids in a small Colorado town. Its episodes are often built around some outrageous current event or local absurdity, with the kids, Stan, Kyle, Cartman, Kenny, either leading the chaos or reacting to it. The core structure is, kids encounter something crazy, adults freak out, kids learn, or don't, a lesson. All delivered with dark satire. Importantly, South Park's storytelling feels deliberate. Nobody in South Park forgets what happened. Plot threads, sometimes over whole seasons, get resolved. And even the loopy elements, time travel, vampires, etc., serve the satire. Family Guy, created by Seth MacFarlane in 1999, centers on the Griffin family in suburban Quahog, Rhode Island. Its premise is almost the reverse of coherent plotting. Episodes are excuses for rapid-fire jokes. Family Guy's engine is essentially, Peter Griffin has an idea or anger fit, cutaways happen, world returns to status quo by the end. There's a father, a mom, 3 kids, one of whom is an evil baby, and an anthropomorphic dog, but continuity is optional. For example, Family Guy famously mines jokes from unrelated cutaway gags that lampoon American pop culture, often with zero connection to the plot. While South Park episodes can be reassembled into a larger tapestry, most Family Guy episodes could run in any order with little carryover. Both engines are remarkably consistent in their own way. Family Guy is a joke factory on idle, whereas South Park is more like a satire-driven novel. But if we're judging how perfectly premise and payoff lock together, one has a slight edge. South Park's world feels cohesive. Nothing is random, and choices have consequences, from Stan's moral dilemmas to Cartman's schemes. Family Guy resets itself after every cutaway. So the winner of round 1, the cleaner story engine, goes to South Park. Round 2. Humor. South Park is built on equal opportunity offense. It trades in shock and satire. Religious figures are crucified in cartoons. Euphemisms for death run rampant. And no subject is off limits. The humor is dark, cynical, and often pointed. Think Cartman's cruelty, or the kids spitting clueless political commentary. Its tone can swing from silly to scathing in a heartbeat, animating tolerance signs even as it yells slurs. South Park feels like comedy driven by rage at hypocrisy and absurdity. Family Guy is, by contrast, a full-throttle joke machine. Its style is non-stop irreverence and randomness. The show is famous for cutaway jokes that have nothing to do with the story. Peter punching a chicken, aliens playing go-karts, multiverse Quahog parodies. The writing leans on pop culture references and one-liners, and even song and dance numbers to rack up laughs. The tone is broadly offensive, often racist, sexist, or juvenile, but it's delivered with such gleeful abandon that it's a giddy punch fest. If South Park's humor is a biting, cold, Family Guy is an adrenaline shock of punchlines. On laugh frequency and sheer variety of jokes, Family Guy pulls ahead. South Park sneaks in a brilliant quip now and then, but it also pauses for a serious beat. Family Guy, on the other hand, is basically 22 minutes of non-stop gags and cultural lampoons. It's not cleaner. Family Guy has had real accusations of racism and sexism thrown at it. But as a comedy vehicle, it's relentless. So in a straight who's funnier per minute fight, we'll give round 2 to Family Guy. Round 3. Characters and relationships. South Park's strength is its core quartet and how real they feel. Stan is earnest but insecure. Kyle is principled and often Kyle. Cartman is self-serving and absolutely villainous. Kenny is lovable and perpetually perishing. These kids actually grow. Stan goes from teasing Craig to owning up to responsibility, for example. And their friendships have depth. The show also evolves its adults. Randy becomes a parody of every ridiculous dad trope. Butters transforms from background kid to naively ambitious. Relationships. Stan's and Kyle's friendship, even Stan's rocky bond with Randy, give episodes real stakes. By this point, South Park has earned viewers' affection for characters who are caustic but still strangely likable. And it isn't afraid to have them learn something or cry. Family Guy has a big cast too, but most characters are static. The Griffins have a sitcom family dynamic. Peter remains cluelessly loving. Lois remains the put-upon mom. Meg is perpetually the butt of the joke. Chris stays dumb and ignored. Stewie is forever plotting world domination and then bonding with Brian. There's a sprinkle of growth. Brian leaves for a bit. Stewie's personality shifts. But mostly characters revert to type. The show often throws feel-good moments, but they're usually undermined by the next joke. Supporting characters, Quagmire, Joe, Cleveland, are memorable comic foils, but they don't exactly evolve. Quagmire is always a perv, Joe is always wheelchair-bound cop, etc. In short, South Park gives you an "I felt that" connection. By letting characters change or display real emotion, it makes their rare heartfelt moments pay off. Family Guy is more like a sketch troupe. You recognize the players, especially Stewie and Peter, but they live in a never-changing routine. For depth of character and genuine relationship stakes, Round 3 goes to South Park. Round 4. Creativity. South Park mostly lives in one snowy town, but within that, Parker and Stone go wild. They parachute the kids into superheroes, Broadway musicals, video games, and even other dimensions. The show's creativity shines when it leaps genres. The entire Imagination Land saga or the movie parody Broadway Bro Down. Yet South Park's world-building is limited by design. Aside from a few lore pieces, the underpants gnomes, the ongoing Kenny mythology, the town itself is static. There are recurring locations, the school, Stan's house, City Walk, and the adults rarely change roles. It's a familiar sandbox. The rules and the characters' moral compasses feel consistent. Family Guy has even less canonical world structure, but in terms of sheer inventiveness, it runs wild. Anything can happen in Quahog, and does. One episode they take on Star Wars, the next they're exchanging DNA with a dog, the next Peter rescues an ape from the zoo. The rules of reality are very loose. Time travel, breaking the fourth wall, extended fantasy sequences. No format is sacred. Family Guy doesn't really build a lore, but it flexes its creativity muscles in every episode. Classic cutaways, random Broadway-style numbers, absurd fight scenes, etc., without worrying about continuity. So who wins creativity? If by creativity you mean repeatable invention per episode, then Family Guy has an edge. Family Guy gleefully abuses cartoon logic, giant chickens, epic fights, and scenes that parody iconic movies, all in one episode. South Park's gags are clever, but often require tying into the character's reality. Family Guy treats the real world as only a suggestion. Thus, for a non-stop anything-goes imagination festival, Round 4, Family Guy takes it.
Round 5. Music and iconic moments. South Park is more famous for shock than songs, but it does have some legendary numbers. Blame Canada, Kyle's Mom, and the Scott Tenorman lyrics are cult favorites. The theme song's banjo riff is instantly recognizable. And the show has pulled off comedic musical episodes, Imagination Land's operetta, Randy's California Quest. South Park also delivers a lot of memorable episode beats. Cartman's, "Screw you guys, I'm going home." The Kenny punchline, the townsfolk freaking out. But they're often more quotes than musical. Family Guy makes music a cornerstone. Nearly every episode has a full musical number with elaborate choreography and professional style songs, thanks to creator Seth MacFarlane's Broadway chops. From Stewie's Sinatra smooth tunes to Peter's Broadway tributes, like the roaring Enork Knee parody, the bar is high. These are not throwaway jingles, but often critically acclaimed. Family Guy even got an Emmy nod for music. Family Guy's theme itself isn't as iconic, but episodes are packed with parodies of The Perfect Villager song, I Need a Jew, Tutors with Tutus, etc. Plus, the cutaway gags have produced internet memes, Peter's chicken fight, the bird is the word dance. On sheer volume and cultural spread of songs and moments, Family Guy wins. The show put hundreds of tunes onto iTunes/YouTube playlists. Even people who never watch FG can quote Stewie's lines or hum a parody. South Park has its classics, but Family Guy turned music into a main dish rather than a garnish. So round 5 goes to Family Guy. Round 6. Rewatch value. South Park thrives on layers. On first watch, you laugh at Cartman's chaos, but on rewatch, you notice subtle references and foreshadowing. Because episodes often tie into real events, viewers spot the clues Parker and Stone seeded months earlier. Big finales recontextualize jokes from long before, and with only approximately 20 episodes a year, there's almost no filler. Rewatching is like running a puzzle solver. Did you catch all the pop culture jabs and hidden callbacks? Imagination Land hints 4 episodes before it even starts. The payoffs, be they moral lessons or plot resolutions, are satisfying. And the limited seasons mean you can re-binge the entire series in a weekend and still discover stuff. Family Guy, by contrast, is drop-in comfort. Skip to any random episode and you'll get the hang of it. The Griffins acting crazy, a road to adventure, some outrageous cutaways. That's a feature. It's perfect back, remember how funny that part was? Ground TV or a Rewatch with Friends show, where you don't need to remember continuity. But the trade-off is emotional payoff. There is very little long-term arc. After Brian leaves for 3 episodes, not much changes. So your rewatch satisfaction comes mostly from rather than narrative catharsis. In other words, South Park offers infinite detective rewatch rewards, whereas Family Guy offers infinite comfort sitcom rewatch fun. So the choice is comfort versus meaning. Family Guy is infinitely rewatchable for laughs, but South Park turns every replay into decoding new jokes and savoring payoffs. South Park wins this round for layering a finite series into a richer puzzle with real resolution.
Round 7. Cultural impact and legacy. Here's where history is made. South Park essentially created Comedy Central's brand of edgy satire. It proved that an animated kids show could tackle political controversy, religion, sexual taboos, and still win Emmys. Over 28 seasons, it's picked up 5 Primetime Emmys and a Peabody. It even spawned a hit movie and made Blame Canada an Oscar nominee. South Park broke the mold on cable TV and opened the floodgates for smart, subversive cartoons. Its creators have said they want no one to be safe from mockery, and that ethos of "we're here to be funny" inspired countless spin-offs. From Rick and Morty to BoJack Horseman, you can trace a line back to South Park's willingness to trust its audience. In 2013,
TV Guide ranked South Park in the top 10 greatest TV cartoons of all time. Its fans still quote it, protest bans with gallons of piss, and mine every frame for deeper meaning. Family Guy also left a mark. It popularized the cutaway joke format and proved a revival was possible after DVD sales resurrected it in 2004. It was the first cartoon to get an Emmy nomination for Outstanding Comedy Series since Flintstones, and in 2013, TV Guide ranked Family Guy 9th among all TV cartoons. Stewie Griffin became an icon. Victory is mine. And themes like Peter's endless insanity or Brian's quips became part of pop culture. The show's influence is mostly in comedy style. Lots of series now try to pack in non-sequiturs and parody bits. But after nearly 25 years, opinions have polarized. Fans see it as a classic. Critics decry declining quality after Season 8. So who gets the crown in legacy? If you count episode count and streaming ubiquity, Family Guy might edge out. It ran far longer at volume, with 400-plus episodes. But on the axis of storytelling impact and cultural bravado, South Park changed the game faster and more radically. For a channel that values craft and influence, the tilt goes to South Park's rule-breaking genius. Round 7, winner, South Park. Scorecard and final verdict. South Park wins Round 1, story engine. Round 3, characters and relationships. Round 6, rewatch value. Round 7, cultural impact and legacy. Family Guy wins Round 2, humor and tone. Round 4, creativity and world building. Round 5, music and iconic moments. Final score, 4-3. The game was tied through 6 rounds and decided in the last category. Verdict. Family Guy is an all-time gag factory, irreverent, inventive, and packed with musical spoofs that can keep viewers laughing for hours. South Park is the precision-crafted satire that pushed TV boundaries, proved you can trust a young audience with controversial ideas, and landed a bullseye every series finale. Both shows are masterpieces of animation comedy, but when it comes down to enduring impact and craftsmanship, South Park takes the crown by a hair. Now it's your turn. Who takes it for you, South Park or Family Guy? And what one episode proves it? Drop your pick and explain me why it is your winner. I'm pinning the sharpest breakdown. If you enjoyed this, hit subscribe, tap the bell, and check out the other versus battles on the channel.